been putting in the work, arms are growing, chest is filling out, shoulders are getting that boulder look, but then you roll up your sleeves and nothing. Flat. Skinny. Like two pencils attached to your elbows. That's the forearm problem, and it's killing your look whether you realize it or not. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Forearms are the first thing people actually see. Not your chest, not your biceps hiding under that hoodie. Your forearms. They're out every single day, at work, on a date, shaking someone's hand. And weak, underdeveloped forearms will quietly undermine every single gain you've made everywhere else. So, let's talk about why you need to fix this. 3 reasons, and they all matter. First, the aesthetic reason. Forearms are a cheat code for looking built. Even if your arms aren't massive yet, thick forearms make everything attached to them look bigger. And veins? They show up here faster than almost anywhere else on your body. You don't need to be stage-ready lean. Train them consistently, and those veins start showing up on their own. Nothing finishes off a strong look like forearms that actually back it up. Second, the performance reason. You're deep into a set. Back is engaged, you're locked in, and then your hands just give up. The bar's slipping, your grip is toast, and the set's over before your muscles even got the memo. That's your forearms failing you. They're the link between your effort and the weight. Deadlifts, rows, pull-ups. Every pulling movement lives or dies by your grip. Build your forearms and suddenly everything else goes up with them. Third, the injury reason. You know that nagging ache around your elbow that creeps in on curl day or bench day? Most people just push through it or slap some ice on it and hope for the best. But here's what a lot of lifters overlook. When your wrist flexors and extensors are out of balance, your elbow ends up absorbing stress it was never meant to handle. Over time, that adds up. That's a big part of where tennis elbow and golfer's elbow come from. Strengthening your forearms won't fix everything, but it removes one of the most common contributors to that pain. And for a lot of people, that alone makes a massive difference. Before you start throwing wrist curls into every session, you need to understand something. Your forearm isn't one muscle. It's an entire team of smaller muscles all doing different jobs. And here's the problem. Not all of them respond to training the same way. Some grow, some don't. And if you're training the wrong ones expecting size, you're going to be waiting a long time. So let's break down who's actually on the team. First up, the Brachioradialis. This is your main guy. Sits right on the top of your forearm near the elbow and has the highest growth potential of the whole group. This is the muscle that gives forearms that dense, powerful, almost 3D look that makes them pop through a sleeve. If aesthetics are your goal, this muscle is doing the heavy lifting. To hit it, you need a neutral or pronated grip. That's why exercises like hammer curls and reverse curls are so effective. More on those in the next section. Second, the wrist flexors and extensors. These run along the inside and outside of your forearm and control how your wrist bends and extends. Now be honest with yourself. These aren't going to add slabs of size to your arms. Their growth potential is limited, but they matter more than people think. Remember that elbow pain we talked about earlier? These are the muscles behind it. Keep them balanced and strong, and your elbows will thank you every single session. Third, your grip muscles. Deep, hidden, and completely invisible from the outside. You'll never look in the mirror and see these, but you'll feel them every time you pull something heavy. They control your fingers and hand, and they're the foundation of everything your forearm does. A weak grip is a weak chain, and a weak chain breaks at the worst possible moment. One team, 3 different jobs. Train all of them, and you've got forearms that look good, perform well, and stay healthy. All right, now we know what we're training. Let's talk about how to actually train it. No overcomplicated movements, no hour-long forearm sessions, just the right exercises, hitting the right muscles. For the Brachioradialis, hammer curls, dumbbells, cable rope, machine. Doesn't matter. What matters is that your palms are facing each other. That neutral grip is what puts the Brachioradialis in the driver's seat. This is your bread and butter forearm exercise. It fits seamlessly into any arm day, and most people are already doing it without realizing how much forearm work they're actually getting. Now they will. Then there's the reverse curl. Same movement, different grip. Palms facing down, and this small change makes a massive difference. Now you're hammering the brachioradialis even harder while pulling the wrist extensors into the mix at the same time. Two birds, one curl. It's one of the most underrated exercises in any arm workout, and it's criminally underused. Sneak it into your bicep session and thank yourself later. For the wrist flexors and extensors, the wrist roller. That simple stick with a rope and a weight hanging off the end. Old school, brutally effective. Roll it upward and you're hitting the wrist extensors. Roll it downward and you're hitting the flexors. Simple as that. Just don't make the mistake of holding it straight out in front of you like you're trying to take flight. Your shoulders will give out before your forearms even warm up. Keep your elbows slightly bent, close to your body, and roll with control. Slow and deliberate beats, fast and sloppy every single time. For grip, dead hangs. And this is where most people completely drop the ball. They'll spend 20 minutes on wrist curls and never think about their actual grip strength. So let's fix that. Dead hangs are arguably the gold standard for functional isometric grip development. You grab a bar, you hang, and you hold on for as long as possible. No complicated setup, just you and gravity having a staring contest. If you want to turn your hands into iron hooks, this is your starting point. And here's a bonus nobody talks about. Hanging from a bar gives your spine a break. All that sitting, all that compression from lifting, a few sets of dead hangs, and your spine gets to decompress naturally. Your grip gets stronger and your back gets a little relief. That's a win on both ends. Now a quick note on form. Don't just sag into the bar like a wet towel. Keep your lats slightly engaged and your shoulders packed down. If your shoulders are creeping up towards your ears, you've already lost the plot. Want to level it up? Throw some fat grips on the bar or your dumbbells. Thicker surface, harder to hold, instant grip workout on autopilot. Just don't overdo it. You still want your back session to be a back session. All right, you've got the knowledge. Now let's put it to work. And don't worry, this isn't going to swallow your whole training week. 2 simple setups and you're good to go. Workout A. Kick things off with 3 sets of hammer curls, 8 to 12 reps. Then grab the wrist roller. 3 sets rolling up and down. Finish with dead hangs. Hang for as long as your grip holds out. Rest, repeat. Workout B. Same structure, just swap the hammer curls for reverse curls. Everything else stays the same. Start by hitting one of these twice a week. Let your body adapt and build from there. Once recovery feels solid and you want to push further, take it up to 3 or 4 times a week. Sounds like a lot, but forearms recover faster than almost any other muscle group. They can handle the volume. Just don't chase heavy weight at the expense of form. Full range of motion, controlled reps, mechanical tension, that's what actually builds forearms, not ego. One last thing before you go. Forearms are heavily genetic. Unfair? Sure, but genetics set your ceiling. Your consistency decides how close you get to it. So before you blame your DNA, ask yourself how many times you've actually trained them this month. Your genetics aren't your excuse. Your skipped sets are. Now, do this consistently and it won't be long before your forearms start doing the talking for you. Every time you roll up your sleeves, shake someone's hand, or step up to a heavy bar, people will notice. And that's exactly the point. The bar is waiting. Now, get to work.